Hello, I am going to show everyone how to make homemade pudding at home. We're going to start off with making some caramel sauce to line the bottoms of some jugs. You're going to want 4 tablespoons of granulated sugar, that's just basically regular sugar. Turn on the heat. You're going to need 1 tablespoon of water in order to make the caramel sauce. Alright, and you're going to need to stir it a little bit. Make sure all the water and sugar is all mixed together and heats up perfectly and evenly. And then, when it's all mixed together and the sugar is all dissolved, you're going to want to let that set. Once it's all set, you're going to want to let it sit there and cook on a medium-high heat until it more or less browns. This could take a few minutes, it could take a while. I'll see you when it turns into then. Okay, we're back. This is starting to heat up, I'm going to put this up a little higher. Starting to boil over a little bit. You really shouldn't want it to do that, but I'm very impatient and that's just who I am. Now, if you do what I'm doing, it's probably going to burn. You have to keep it on a low-medium heat and try to get it to heat up slowly. Me, I'm very impatient, so I do things really fast and try to do things fast and mess up a lot. Don't be me. But when we're making caramel, what you're going to want to do is the second it looks like it's starting to turn a different color, turn the heat off, which I'm going to remove it, put it on somewhere else, and put 2 tablespoons of warm water in it and try mixing that around until it's all smooth. If it comes out a little clumpy, put it on a little bit more heat, melt it down, make sure it's all good. And then after that, we're going to pour them into some containers. Going to coat the bottom with half of the mixture in this one and half of the mixture in another one. Then after that, you'll see what we do next. I'm going to turn colors now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my water, take it off the heat, quickly get this all around, turn the heat off, that is way too hot, never again, and it's a nice golden brown color. I'm going to turn the light on, give me a sec. Nice golden brown color. This caramel color, you know, everything caramel has to be. It's a little runny, but that's good because you want it a little runny. After that, after you've done coated your things with a little layer of butter or some other oil to keep it from sticking, you put it in here, and you're good to go. I'll be back when that's done. Okay, now next, this is hardened a little bit because I ended up forgetting to, you know, butter up the cans, so I'm going to end up putting this back on heat for a little bit. Melting it all down and trying to get it all back to what it was supposed to be. That was my fault that it cooled down a little too fast because I did not remember to butter up the tins like I was supposed to, the jars. That was me. Don't be me. Don't do what I do. I'm an awful person. Now that that's all back in dissolved, I'm going to put these back in here. 1 and 2. One of them I put a little too much butter in, but oh well, it'll be fine. It'll just taste a little buttery. Now what you're going to want to do with this caramel, take a little bit of salt, just a tiny bit, and salt it. Salted caramel is the best type of caramel. Where I got this recipe, you might ask? I got it from my mother's cookbook that she has. Because reasons. She has a lot of stuff like this. She makes a lot of candy and desserts. Now, this in there calmly. One, evenly, evenly. Come on, evenly. You can do it evenly. Alright, we're almost ready for the next step. Looks kind of like honey now, don't it? Hardens just like honey too. But it's caramel, and it has a slight salty taste, and it's really good. I suggest anyone makes caramel at home. Now that that's lined the bottoms of the thing, we're going to move on to the next step. Next step, what we're going to do is get out a brand new pan. I just washed mine out and washed the spatula. Off. Get out a brand new pan, and we're going to make some custard, pudding stuff, whatever it's called. You're going to want 5 tablespoons of sugar, granulated, of course. 250 milliliters of milk, any type will do. In order to find out what 250 milliliters are, you can just check next to the cups. It's right there. A lot of people, for some reason, don't know that. The recipe says 250, and I never understood why we just didn't convert it into cups and stuff, but we just didn't. I like to get all the milk out. Don't judge me. Don't have to do this, I just like to. Anyway, put it on a low heat. I like putting it on, say, 3, but I'm going to put it on 4 like you're supposed to, because you can easily accidentally curdle your milk and accidentally make cheese instead. You don't want to do that. Now, as this is heating up, since it's really cold, I'm going to go over to the eggs. Now with the eggs, what you want to do is you want to whisk them. My whisk is currently being used for something else, so I'm going to just use a fork. You do not want to put too much air in these. That is not necessarily any good for your recipe or your end product. You just want to whisk them and try to make them evenly as possible. As evenly mixed as possible. Try to get the white and the yolk completely mixed. Get the big lumps all broken out and mixed up. You can go like this, you can go like this, you can go like this. Do whatever you want, whatever you feel comfortable with. Try not to get too much air in it, like I said, because you'll get too many bubbles. Do not want it whisked too hard, but you generally do want to use a wire whisk or some small whisk. That is very fine, but my whisk is currently being used for something else, don't ask. And, well, oh well. We can make do with a fork just fine. Oops, it's sliding a little. There. So, once this is all done, go back to our milk and sugar. Still not all that heated up. But you want to heat it up until all of the sugar is melted. You can let it simmer a tiny bit if you want to make it a little creamier, better. But do not let it boil, do not let it boil over, do not get it too hot because you will spoil your milk. You want to make sure that all of the sugar is all dissolved in everything before we move on to the next step. This will play a very important role in one of the next steps. Okay, see you when this is done. Alright, this is starting to get warm and nice and good looking. Personally, I like to get this a little warmer than this, but this is what you're generally supposed to do. It's warm enough like warm milk when you're making hot cocoa. Personally, I like warmer, but it's hot cocoa, not consistency, but temperature basically. Don't know how else to explain it. I don't have a thermometer on hand right now. But you want it warm and wait until all the sugar is dissolved. Then after that, you're going to take it and slowly pour it into your egg mixture. Don't ask what that is, it's a long story. Take it off the heat, put it into your egg mixture. Try to get it all in there and try not to spill any. Also pour it in very slowly so you don't oversaturate it. You want to try to get it evenly mixed. You don't want to put it all in and just have one side eggs, one side milk and sugar. Try to get it all in there, all in there, all over. Sadly, there's still a little sugar that I did not notice in here. Give me a minute. It's going to have to go back on heat. Put it on a little higher heat, try to get it nice and fast. That was my fault. Blame me. Oh well. Be right back. I'm back. I fixed it. Probably should get a bigger bowl, but oh well. I can make do with this. Alright, you see these lumps right here? You want to get a strainer for those. One of those fine strainers that have very porous material. I don't have one because I just can't find it, and I've been sitting on this video for a while. I'll be back after I get it. Alright, I couldn't find the strainer. Oh well. We'll deal with it later. I will pour this into a measuring cup because it'll make it easier to pour into the smaller cups. Give me a moment. You really should strain this, but I can't find my strainer. So mine is going to turn out lumpy and not as good and rich and creamy as it should. But I can live with that because it's me I'm cooking for. So, pour it in here. Pour the other one in here. A little bit left. Okay. Now, this isn't going to look as pretty and as good as it should, but I can't find the strainer, so oh well. Okay, for the final step, you're going to want to cover it in tin foil. Put it into a steaming pot on a very low simmer. Make sure the water rises about halfway up the container you're using, so it more or less heats it up evenly. And cover it up so the steam gets through all of it. It's a little higher. Next, you're going to want to set a timer for 18 to 20 minutes. I normally make it go 30 because I'm that person, but still. And that's about all you got to do. After that, you chill it and you serve it, you eat it, it's good. Alright, here's your end product. All you got to do is put it into the cooler or some sort of cold area. My fridge is what I'm doing, and it'll be good to go. Good to eat after that.